We now transition from Act 1, the tournament arc, to Act 2, the Shang Tsung investigation arc. We head to the Fire Temple, where Geras shows up to greet Liu Kang.
It resolves into a dark-skinned man with glowing eyes and a bald head.
Geras has been reconstructed by Liu Kang, from Chronica's mindless boring jobber, to now a much more interesting character. It's here we get a very important lore drop.
You are relishing your role as Earthrealm's protector.
It suits me far better than being Keeper of Time ever did.
Liu Kang does not have the power of the Hourglass anymore. He relinquished it, and lived among the mortals as Earthrealm's protector, while Geras volunteers to safeguard and watch over the Hourglass. This actually helps explain a big issue with the plot. Whenever something bad happens, people would say, why doesn't Liu Kang just solve it with a snap of a finger? Isn't he God? Is he stupid? It turns out, he already gave up his powers, and he wants to solve these issues the mortal way. There's actually another goal as to why Liu Kang renounced his powers, and I absolutely love this reasoning.
I never wanted to replace Chronica.
So, Chronica is my personal most hated character in the series, from her abilities, her plans, and how stupid she is, to her entire existence taking over the Mortal Kombat lore forever. But there's one thing about her that I truly despise. Why is she doing all this? What is her motive?
Why do you want to do this?
The Thunder God has upset the balance of history.
Yeah, I know the what, but I don't know the why. Why do you want to restart the universe? What is it that truly makes you want to do this?
We truly don't understand why she is so persistent on getting the golden balance for the universe. Well, in Geras' MK1 arcade ending, they semi-gave a reason.
Timeline after timeline, my frustration grew. I began to understand why Chronica had been driven to madness.
And in M1K, they straight up confirm it.
Being history's architect drove her mad.
She's fucking crazy. Every stupid thing she did in MK11 can all be explained with, she went mad. Yes, thank you NRS. I love this explanation. This actually makes me hate Chronica less. Like, by 12%.
12%?
Geras then explains the reasoning as to why he's here.
Shang
Tsung. I knew it.
Go on.
He has escaped his meaningless life.
He's escaped his meaningless life.
So, I can't believe I have to say this.
Again with this?
But there are people actually defending Shang Tsung here, and say that Liu Kang is too cruel to Shang Tsung by giving him a meaningless life.
Seriously?
Liu Kang has every reason to commit anti-friendship to Shang Tsung with everything he's done in the previous timelines.
I resent what you've done to me in this timeline.
And I what you've done in all others.
In fact, he already wanted to erase him in MK Aftermath.
No more timelines will be twisted by your evil.
So Liu Kang showing mercy and allowing Shang to still live is a sign of how benevolent he is. In fact, there is a reason why Liu Kang gave Shang Tsung a meaningless life.
Your plan to punish me has failed.
I wished to reform you, not punish you.
Liu Kang finds Shang Tsung regaining power troublesome, so he's going to investigate.
Please return to the Hourglass and see what else you can learn.
They seriously just stare at each other for like 4 seconds. We cut to the next day. Chapter 4. Kenshi.
It's lying time.
Liu Kang assigns Kenshi, Kung Lao and Johnny to capture Shang Tsung.
They just can't get my nose right.
The three of them are also all wearing new armor suits. Kenshi wishes for Raiden to join them, but Liu Kang wants this to be a stealth mission, and Raiden is quite the celebrity in Outworld now.
Your name is still on Sundo's lips.
I can't believe I made such an impression.
Due to the tournament, Raiden is now a familiar face there.
Honestly, this is a pretty dumb reason. Like, do you think people will not recognize the other Earth roamers? Yeah, Liu Kang, don't send the Lin Kui, the assassins, on a stealth mission, who no one in Outworld will recognize. It's better to send the 3 champions, who Liu Kang totally didn't introduce to the princesses.
Princess Melina, may I introduce Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Kenshi Takahashi.
Oops! Now, even though the reasoning for Raiden not going is dumb, I think it's fantastic from a narrative perspective. Think about it. If Raiden went with them, he would either have his protagonist powers kick in and beat everybody, which would be boring. Or he could start taking L's, which would be lame. considering how he just won a tournament against Outworld's strongest warriors. So just don't let him go. Now the focus can be given to the 3 other champions who have been sidelined up to this point. Though I will say, I do wish Raiden could at least be here to say goodbye. What the heck is he even doing? Hanging out with his other best friend? The 3 amigos embark on their journey. They get teleported to a desert and walk towards Shang Tsung.
I'm already lucky. I've got Sento strapped to my back.
Why? No, seriously, why did you bring Sento? Up to this point, you've never wielded a sword. I know this sets up for one of the best bromance scene ever. But Johnny bringing Sento honestly just feels like he's taunting Kenshi. Which might have been the point. Johnny then offers to sell Sento for a small loan of $3 million, which Kenshi obviously doesn't have. And then Johnny says something really brutal.
I bet your Yakuza pals could come up with it. Oh, that's right. You blew them off. If there's one lesson Hollywood's taught me, it's never burn bridges.
Almost every NRS game, Johnny will somehow really piss off someone. It's been lady problems in the past. But this time, he really hit a nerve for Kenshi. The Yakuza are horrible people that prey on the weak. So Kenshi wants to save his clan from their misery. This makes for a very serious scene. But I can't help but laugh at Kenshi pointing a flashlight at Johnny.
The Yakuza are leeches. Please.
I got out. How dare you take my flashlight? Did he just flash him?
The Yakuza are leeches.
They then head to the Tarkat colony.
No! No! Baraka! No! Not Baraka!
Feet! Thank you. Thank you for the feet shot. We needed that.
Firelight shines on his multitude of large fangs and bald head.
And then Shang Tsung, the cuckest character in Mortal Kombat, appears.
The wound will heal in time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the heal will wound in time. Don't worry about it.
The Tarkatans and soldiers get into a fight. The gang go in to save Shang Tsung because they need him alive to question him. Shang Tsung shapeshifts to escape.
Transforms into a toothy creature.
Then Kenshi fights Baraka. The Tarkat colony has some pretty interesting things in the background. There is a man who is completely infected by Tarkat, but only on his right side. There is an armadillo-like creature on the right of the stage, and when you do a brutality, you can scare it. There's a Tarkat on the left of the stage, who will be really into your fighting. There is one fellow in particular that I find very funny. If you pick the daytime variation, then go to the left of the stage, you'll see a shocked Tarkat, and he'll start pointing right. He's trying his best to get your attention, to look at the dirt.
Look at it! Look at it!
Now, No Powers Kenshi is a lot weirder compared to No Powers Raiden and Kung Lao. Kenshi has two stances. Normal stance, which I will also call Sheath stance. In this stance, Kenshi has more psychic abilities, and the sword floats around more. Sento stance, which I will also call Unsheath stance, has Kenshi pulling out his katana, and it summons his ancestor. This is one of the coolest mechanics in the game, and makes Kenshi one of the hardest puppeteer type characters in the roster. Now here's where things get interesting. When your ancestor is out, you can't use your cameo fighter, and your cameo bar is now used to indicate how long the ancestor can be out. When the bar is used up, the ancestor will vanish. However, Kenshi will still be in Sento stance, just without his ancestor, and this turns him into the worst character in the game. What makes Sento stance strong is the 2v1 gang up ability, but without your ancestor, you're basically handicapping yourself. You're playing Baby Diva, so what you need to do is find time to go back into normal stance, so your character won't be shot anymore. Alternatively, before the cameo bar is used up, you can use enhanced spiritual alignment to refill the bar and repeat the cycle of bullying again.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the...
By the way, when you sheath your katana, it's called Banish Ancestor. You fucking banish your ancestry every time you put your sword away. Sento.
You're banished.
Sento.
You can stay. But I'm...
Sento.
So who's banished?
Now after that long detour, Let's go back to the story mode. The Kenshi you're playing here is Sento's stance without his ancestor. You're not just playing a worse version of a character. You're playing a character who only has a quarter of his moveset left. So excuse my gameplay for making him look bad, but I literally can only do about 20% damage with his combos. Now, I'm going to go on a very random tangent because of a rabbit hole I accidentally fell into, and let me be clear, I'm not a nitpicker. Okay, I'm not always a nitpicker, but I wouldn't have noticed this detail if I wasn't trying to appreciate Kenshi's katana. Let me explain. Before Kenshi gets Sento, he has his own katana, the Tsugaru, which he uses in chapter 2, 3 and 4. The Tsugaru is a pretty sick looking sword. I especially like the sheath. That's when I noticed something in gameplay. When Kenshi summons the ancestor, his sheath turns into the ancestor. The animation is really cool. But how does that work in the story mode, since Kenshi doesn't have powers yet? In chapter 2 and 3, when you fight Kenshi, he's already pulled out the katana, so there's no issue hiding the sheath. But for chapter 4, they're going to have to show it somehow. Kenshi carries his katana on his back. By the way, in the character select screen, he won't have the katana on his back. Instead, his sheath will just float right next to him, which is kind of raw. When Kenshi fights Baraka, he pulls out his sword, and then the sheath just disappears. A small mistake, don't think it's that big of a deal. But then I saw it. A mistake. That ain't small. What is Kenshi holding? It's not the Tsugaru anymore. It's Sento. It's fucking Sento. How did you get this wrong? Even right before this fight, the katana is still the Tsugaru. So how the f did this happen? And the worst part, this happens in the entire chapter. It will be the Tsugaru in the cutscenes, but during gameplay, it'll switch to Sento. They got it right in chapter 2, and wrong again in chapter 3. Kenshi's journey is to earn the right to hold Sento. So what's the point of it if he's already using it? You know what? Fine. It's only in the gameplay parts. They can always patch this. They can always fix this issue. It's not like this is a pre-rendered cutscene where you can't change it, right?
Right? Right?
In chapter 3, when the gang are in Outworld, Kenshi brings the Tsugaru with him, and when they enter Sindel's palace, it's gone. It's gone for the entirety of chapter 3. I don't know, maybe you're not allowed to bring weapons into the palace, but if that's the case, why was Kung Lao allowed to bring his razor-rimmed hat? Anyways, that's not the point.
That's not the issue.
Before they go to Outworld, when they're in the fire temple, Kenshi is holding Sento. How do you fuck up this bad? Am I going insane? Am I the only one who gives a shit about this? Am I going to have Vietnam War flashbacks every time I look at Kenshi's sword now? Let's get back on track. Before I lose my marbles! There's a pretty funny mid-match dialogue. And by funny, I mean I think it's another mistake.
You haven't stopped him. You've just made him angry.
What the hell are you talking about? You just made him angry? Who are you even talking to? I think what's supposed to happen is like in previous NRS games, you were supposed to be able to pick who you want to play as, and if you pick Johnny, Kenshi would say this to you.
You haven't stopped him. You've just made him angry.
Kenshi calms down the bald creature and tries to explain the situation with him.
I know what this looks like, but we don't work for Shang Tsung.
Baraka then explains the victims of Tarkat to the trio. Tarkatans are way more tragic in this timeline. In previous games, Tarkatans were just one of the brutal species in Outworld, but in M1K, Tarkat is a disease. It slowly infects and disfigures the body. You'll then start to gradually lose your mind and turn into a bloodthirsty monster. And at the end of this suffering, you die.
Death is our only release.
The only upside of Tarkat is that you get cool Wolverine blades. Baraka agrees to let the trio go and help them on this quest to capture Shang Tsung. They head to Shang Tsung's laboratory.
Stay here. We'll check it out.
Seriously? There is literally no disadvantage bringing him.
Well, I would have liked the assistance, but okay. Bye-bye, Baraka. Nice meeting you.
My guess is it would have made the fight choreography harder or something. But either way,
I should have gone with you into Shang Tsung's laboratory.
The trio sneak into the lab and see that Shang Tsung is about to infect Princess Mileena with Tarkat.
Because it is brewed from freshly extracted Tarkat marrow.
Why does it look so funny?
The trio show up to stop then.
Get away from her. You.
Language! Fuck that!
And an all-out brawl begins. Tanya takes on Johnny and Kung Lao. Kenshi kicks the serum out of Shang Tsung's hand. And Rain literally just stood there and did nothing for 10 seconds.
They've already seen too much.
I need time.
Shang Tsung tells Rain to cover him while he makes another serum.
Which wouldn't have been an issue if Rain wasn't T-posing for 10 seconds.
Kenshi fights Rain. If you go all the way to the left of the stage, you can see Mileena laying on the operating bed. You can see Shang Tsung's artistic skills all over the stage. There's a book that reads, The Hot New Celebrity Trend, starring Berry Man, and Shang wants to suck his soul. There's a book that reads, Go now dog, go dog dog dog, no dog, and a model of a pyramid that looks suspiciously familiar. Kenshi wins.
The High Mage is brought low.
Lamau.
Then Kenshi fights Tanya, and since Rain is her cameo fighter, he currently is only pretending to be defeated. Kenshi wins. Then they confront Shang Tsung.
This is twice you've been a thorn in my side.
Actually, they saved Geras the first time. Kenshi goes to free Mileena, which somehow sparked the Kenshi x Mileena ship. It turns out, Shang Tsung wasn't trying to infect Mileena with Tarkat, he was trying to cure her of it. So now Mileena has activated Tarkat mode. Fun fact, there is a theory that Shang Tsung was the one who infected Mileena with Tarkat, because her Tarkatan mouth doesn't look like other Tarkatans, but it suspiciously looks like Shang Tsung's baby dragon in his fatality. Not much merit to this theory, but it's a cute theory nonetheless. You know, if I were a bloodthirsty monster looking for some fresh juicy meat, I'd probably go for Tanya. She's just lying there unconscious. Luckily for her, she magically disappears in the next shot.
Isn't that convenient?
Kenshi and Johnny try to stop Mileena, while Kung Lao just stands next to Shang Tsung. What the f are you doing? Something I never noticed on my first playthrough is that Mileena isn't holding her size, so she only uses kicks and rolls in her moveset.
Whatever we do, we can't hurt her.
Huh? Remember, don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. Oh my gosh, don't hurt her. Don't hurt her, guys, please.
They defeat her.
Johnny, Kung Lao. Kung Lao.
They try to sedate her, but she breaks free. Unfortunately, Kenshi's canon event happens. Kenshi isn't dead, just blinded. Then Shang Tsung sedates Mileena and alleviates her Tarkat symptoms. Kitana, Goro and General Shao show up.
What's happened here, sorcerer?
Why did she say sorcerer like a slur?
What's happened here,
Excuse me?
Shang Tsung lies and says that the Earthrealmers came here to sabotage Mileena's treatment.
What? That's totally fake news! Princess, we were...
Yep, that's me.
By the way, Goro walks super slow towards Johnny.
What? That's totally fake news! Princess, we were...
Now, I won't be dedicating time to talk about every single cameo fighter that appears in the story mode, but I do have a lot to say about Goro. So, let's break it down. Goro.
And by let's break it down, I mean let's fucking break up Goro! I really wasn't planning on doing this. Like, I really was not planning to do a finger cam rant on a cameo fighter, but the more I thought about it, the more angry I got, and I was just like eventually thinking, yeah, let's just turn the camera on and start talking this forearm being. In Mortal Kombat 1, there are a couple of characters that I've seen opinions that are saying things like, oh, this character is ugly now. Oh, this character is wearing too much clothes. Oh, this character is just worse compared to how they looked in the previous games. And I genuinely think Goro takes the cake on all of those! I remember when the first gameplay trailer dropped, when the first time everybody got to see Goro, they were saying things like, oh, who is that character? Ooh, like, oh, is that like a new Shokan? Like, oh, look, this is like a very new design and stuff. Nobody wanted to admit or accept that that was actually going to be fucking Goro. How the fuck did the design team get the one aspect, the one thing that makes Goro iconic wrong? Oh, and no, I'm not talking about the 4 arms. Nah. We have like 3 other Shokans in universe that are popular now too. And also a Naknada with 6 arms. So 4 arms is not that special anymore. Nah. That's so 30 years ago, okay? You see, the thing that made Goro iconic is the fact that he's a big, muscly, juicy boy. Dude, you look huge. He was bigger than Shao Kahn. Shao friggin' Kahn! That's like a Goro throughout the NRS timelines. Let's just compare and see his designs here. In MK9, he was a big, beefy, juicy boy that we all know and love. Fantastic, great job. In MKX, they nerfed his size a bit. And the main reason they did this is because he was actually going to be fully playable, and so if he was still a giant hulk of meat, it would be a little bit imbalanced. And this, back in 2015, already pissed off some people. Like, I remember people were not happy with Goro being slightly smaller compared to how he was in MK9. And now we jump cut to M1K. What the fuck is this tiny midget? Dude, you look small. When he stands next to General Shao, he looks shorter. In Mortal Kombat X, you had the excuse that he was going to be playable, and that's why you reduced his size a bit. What excuse do you have for when he is a fucking cameo fighter? Ed Mother Frifing Boone said this.
Some that kind of couldn't possibly be controlled characters are going to be cameo characters.
Wait, characters that can't be controlled, meaning what? Were not playable in the previous games but appeared in the games?
Yes.
One of the major points for cameo fighters is to have weirdos that can't be playable in the franchise because their body proportions don't allow them to be fatality. And that's why Motaro is a cameo fighter, and he looks great. So what's the excuse for not giving us big hunky chunky Goro? Now, I want to talk about Goro's fashion sense. And there lies the problem. Why is he wearing clothes? I don't want to sound like a conservative seeing someone with a mask on the road, but take it off! Take off your clothes! Take off your pants! Don't make me go over there and rip it off myself! You were always so proud to show your muscles, so why are you covering them up? You used to wear a thong, for crying out loud. A thong! SMH, modern gaming and their politics. Am I right? Now how am I supposed to fap to him? Now let's talk about Goro's lore. Oh, you thought we were done? You thought we were just gonna end it on body shaming him? No. We are going deep into his files. We are looking through his internet history. We are finding that thong. In the old timelines, in the games and movies, Goro was called upon to fight in the Mortal Kombat tournament, specifically to fight the Great Kung Lao because he defeated Shang Tsung. Goro defeats the Great Kung Lao, then goes on to win 9 tournaments in a row. Then things start to go downhill for him. He loses the next tournament, he loses to more fighters, dies in embarrassing ways. In MK11, the king of the Shokans should be Goro, but it ain't. It's Shiva, because Goro is dead in that timeline. But, even with all these elves, Goro still has beating the Great Kung Lao and 9 Mortal Kombat win streaks under his belt, which is the main reason why OG MK fans still respect Goro to this day, because of those main 2 things. It doesn't matter how bad it gets for Goro, it doesn't matter how embarrassing things happen to him, he still has those 2 main things that make him respectable and strong. So, in Mortal Kombat 1, he still has them, right? We don't know what happens to the Great Kung Lao. In fact, it's kind of left up as a mystery, but if Goro did, I think we would have known that by now. And Goro doesn't have his 9 win streak in this timeline because Liu Kang said,
Earthrealm and Outworld have long been evenly matched.
And more importantly, Goro wasn't even in the tournament. He didn't get name dropped until chapter 4. Goro isn't the champion of Mortal Kombat. He isn't representing the strongest might Outworld has to go into the tournament anymore. He's just a soldier, and that's it. That's all he is in this timeline. He's just a plain, regular soldier. Not even second in command, that's Reiko. What a complete deterioration of a character. Honestly, I'd rather have Kentaro. Kentaro is a furry version of Goro, and he has a lot less lore. And because of that, I would not mind if he's just a regular ass soldier. Heck, you know what? I'd rather if Goro wasn't even in the roster. At least then you could have some intrigue about him. Ooh, what are the Shokans doing? Where is Goro? Ooh, how is their relationship with Outworld? Ooh, Gorbak is mentioned. Ooh, that could lead to something interesting. That could lead to nowhere! It leads to nowhere! He's just a boring ass soldier! It's a real shame too, because if they ever make a sequel to this game or even an expansion, I still don't think there's anything interesting that they can do with Goro. Like, where do you go with this character? He's just set up as a nobody now. And more importantly, I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody's gonna care what they do with him anymore. He's literally just a dust in the wind. I don't think he's the worst character in the story mode, because like, he's just a soldier. That's just mediocre. But I do think he is the worst character when compared to his previous counterparts. From champion of Mortal Kombat to now just a soldier. They ruined him. They ruined my fat material.
We should detain the Earth Realmers and the Tarkat we found outside.
Baraka just stood there and did nothing, and then randomly got captured LMAO.
That this incident proves.
Hello there.
Then a green portal appears.
A bald Outworlder.
OMG, it's Quan Chi. What a reveal. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Everyone. People already noticed that he was in the trailer's LMAO. Quan Chi then explains how this event is confirmation of his prophecy.
Today's events were foretold in the final quatrains of the prophecy.
Oh, so today's events were foretold in the prophecy. That's great. So why the fuck didn't you warn any of us about Melina's ambush then, huh?
Quan Chi stares unblinkingly.
Kitana then leaves with Melina, so now the three of them can talk more evilly about their plans. Basically, they want to start a war with Earthrealm.
Outworld needs a steadfast leader.
A leader like you, perhaps.
Oh!
Two birds, one stone.
They also mention a mysterious benefactor. And Quan Chi, just like Shang Tsung, also had a meaningless life working in the mines before the mysterious benefactor intervened. Fun fact, even though our heroes are captured and thrown into the flesh pits, if you lose to Rain or Tanya, you will be captured by the Uncanny and get executed. So, it's ironically better to be captured by Shang Tsung than Tanya.
How deliciously cold-blooded.
Welcome to the Double ID, interesting intro dialogues, where we look at character intro dialogues to gain more information about the current chapter we're on. Melina is genuinely sorry for blinding Kenshi.
I am truly sorry that I blinded you.
I have only myself to blame.
Shang Tsung's anti-Tarkat serum is not a cure for Tarkat.
You have a cure for Tarkat, don't you?
If I did, I'd be a much wealthier man.
It's only enough to treat people with early symptoms.
Was Shang Tsung close to a cure?
He could only treat my symptoms.
Let's break it down. Kenshi somehow has a different origin in each iteration. In Deadly Alliance, he was working with the Special Forces to track down Shang Tsung. In MKX, he was a father. In Snowblind, he was a wanderer looking for challenge. And in M1K, he was in the Yakuza. One good thing about Kenshi in this story is that unlike before, where he's just the cool side character that doesn't do much in the story, NRS realized how much people liked Kenshi and decided to turn him into one of the main characters.
And Snowblind did it too.
Kenshi goes through a pretty great arc in this story, but unfortunately, we won't be able to see it completed until chapter 6. So I guess this is let's break it halfway. And that's pretty much chapter 4. I feel like not too much happened, yet somehow, This video is longer than the previous 3 I've made. I blame Goro and Kenshi's stupid katana.
You know what? Goro. All my homies say Goro.